Good morning, class 6. I am your science teacher. Students, today we are going to start our new unit, chapter number 3. The name of the chapter is Photosynthesis and Respiration in Plants. So, basically, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the plants. If you remember, we have discussed it several times that photosynthesis is a process in which plants make their own food. Let us look at what are we going to learn in this chapter. We are going to learn about the internal structure of the leaf, photosynthesis. Then we are going to learn about the importance of photosynthesis. Kindly open your books from page number 30. All of you take out your pencils or your highlighters and start underlining the important points. It is important to remember that most of our food it comes from the green plants, or we eat animals, and the food of the animal is again plants. So our food, all type of the food, it is coming from the plants. Either we are eating plants or we are eating the animals that eat plant. For example, goat or the cow, we eat cow, and the goat and the cow in return they eat plants. So all types of the food they come from the plants. Now we are going to talk about the seed. A seed is something from which a new plant is grown. If you open the seed, you will find out that inside the seed there is a food store, and there is a tiny plant. You cannot see it with the naked eye, but inside the seed there is a very little plant. When you put that seed into the soil, that little or the tiny plant grows in size and become a bigger plant. Let's start reading it. Inside the covering of the seed, there is a tiny young plant with a food stored around it. The plant start growing, the covering burst. Covering mean the covering of the seed. The roots, they push down, they go into the soil, and the stem and the leaves, they come out and they grow into the air. When the plant is growing, it keeps on using the stored food, but the stored food it finishes very early or very soon because it is in limited amount. So once the food is finished, the plant needs to make the food by itself. एक दफ़ा सीड के अंदर स्टोर्ड फूड ख़त्म हो जाए तो प्लांट को उसके बाद अपनी लाइफ कंटिन्यू करने के लिए अपनी फूड खुद बनानी पड़ती है, और जो प्रोसेस प्लांट को अपनी फूड खुद बनाने के लिए हेल्प आउट करता है, द नेम ऑफ दैट प्रोसेस इज फोटोसिंथेसिस. Plants always make their food in the form of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates mean sugar or glucose. Plants make their food in the form of the sugar, and in science we call it carbohydrates. Please underline it, that plants make their food in the form of carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now the question is, from where plant will get all these three materials? The roots of the plant, they absorb water, and water has hydrogen and oxygen. And the leaves of the plant, they absorb carbon dioxide from the air and get carbon from carbon dioxide. That is how plant has obtained carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now they will use the sunlight and chlorophyll to make the food from carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and carbohydrates will be made in this way. From the green plants, we can get carbohydrates, fats, minerals, water and vitamins. All these foods are compound. Compound mean when simple elements they are joined together, they form compounds. For example, carbohydrate is a compound. It is made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. In the similar way, fats and proteins and water and vitamins, they are the form of compounds. Sugar and starch are different compounds, but both of them are carbohydrates. Sugar और starch दो तरह के different compounds हैं, but both of them are carbohydrates. They are made from same three elements. Sugar and starch तीन चीज़ों से बने होते हैं, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. And I have told you that carbon comes from carbon dioxide, हवा से, hydrogen और oxygen वो मिल जाते हैं प्लांट को वाटर से. Water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. Look at the diagram at the bottom of the page. Photosynthesis and respiration. In this diagram, they have told us that during the process of the photosynthesis, food is made. Food बनती है photosynthesis के अंदर. And then in respiration, food is broken down. Respiration के process में food break down होती है और उसमें से energy produce होती है. And then we use that energy for the growth, for the maintenance of body. Maintenance mean to make certain chemicals in the body. Passage of nerve impulse. Nerve impulse mean messages in the body. Transport. Transport mean movement of water or food in the plants. Cell division mean making new cells in the body. And movement mean to move from one place to other. Students, kindly go through this page thoroughly. Underline all the important points that we have discussed today. I am sending you the written work of this chapter. Write that into your notebooks and send me the picture of your homework. Thank you, students. Take care.